Welcome to the Profitable Cleaner podcast. Join your hosts, James Harper and Angel Sandoval, bringing you the experts, discussions, and knowledge you want. We talk about sales, technology, marketing, operations, strategy, leadership, mindset, health, God, and so much more. Now, are you ready to profit?
The podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Profitable Cleaner. Bum bum. This is a special podcast. I got that from Theo Von. I gotta stop doing that. The bum bum bum. Anyways, basically today is a little bit of a different podcast. We've got a Christmas and New Year edition. First things first, Mr. Harper. Always a pleasure to be doing a podcast with you, brother. Kind of sad this is the last one. We made it to the end of the year. How you feeling?
Feeling great, man. Glad we're here. Glad to be joining you again. And Andrea, welcome back.
100%. Andrea, how are you doing today, ma'am?
Hi, everyone. I'm really good. I'm honored to be with you too today.
Yeah, we got to give her a shot or something, like a tequila shot. You got some? I'm just kidding. We don't drink on the podcast. We don't drink at all. No, guys, for those who don't know, Andrea's the one that makes sure that everything sounds good, everything looks good, and that we're coming in our best self all the time. She makes sure. It's a blessing to know that James and I just got to record the podcast. Then we have a team that takes care of it. She's that blessing, and so I just thank God for putting her here in our road, in our lives, in our business, in our corner. That's right. And she never cares about taking the credit. That's what makes her so interesting, right? So two things. We're gonna talk about a few things today. We're gonna talk about a recap of the year. We're gonna talk about the lessons and what we're grateful for. A recap of cleaning profits, but what's coming. And then last but not least, what to expect for 2024. Because things are changing. Things are changing and we're super excited. But before we do that, for those that don't know, again, Andrea's our brand experience manager, and she's going to be making some big things happen this upcoming year with the event and the podcast. Trust me. If you think we're doing good, just raise your expectations. Raise your expectations of us and we'll meet them. Andrea, just real quick, for those that don't know you, what have been your biggest lessons since you've been in the background? What have you learned the most? Where do you live? Give them a little insight about you real quick. You have to give it in 30 seconds.
Well, I'm in Madrid right now in Spain. And what have been my biggest lesson with you two guys? Well, for you that knows James and Angel, there are two different persons and have different big ideas. So I think one of my biggest lesson was to stay organized and put on a paper everything that they think and the big ideas that they threw out to me and make that happen in one solo idea. So yeah.
That's a good takeaway, actually, because you're right. You kind of are the blend of two minds for sure. So that's a good takeaway, Andrea.
And these minds really don't blend well. Minds. We blend well. Yeah, exactly. Right. We're like opposites and the same at the same time. We have the same intention, very similar visions as well. Well, listen, let's get into it. James, what has been your biggest lesson? Before we get into the like what we've learned from the podcast, anything you want to share with the audience?
I'm just super pumped to be here. I consider ourselves blessed to do this another year, honestly speaking. Obviously, you guys have heard the journey of like why this started and where it came from. And to think that we're doing this for another upcoming year is a blessing in many ways. So, in terms of like lessons from the podcast, it's just amazing what, if you start going down a road where it can take you. And here we are. What about you, man?
Oh, 100%. I still remember when we first started episode 1. Can you guys hear me okay, by the way? Yeah, cool. I decided to be more chill this time. I'm going to sit back. But I still remember episode 1, then episode 70, and now we're in this should be episode 127. That sounds crazy. That just sounds crazy. My biggest lessons have been people need the information. Right? People need the transformation that comes from the information. And so one of the things that we've really valued and that we play in is personal development, and then making sure that whoever we bring has substance. We talked about it, right, James? Substance over status. It's not about us. Like, it's crazy. We do this podcast not because of us, man. There's nothing that we gain out of it outside of the benefits and the transformations that you guys get from implementing, right? Outside of that, we really don't know. We're just two guys and Andrea, a girl, and a guest just jumping on and hoping for the best. So just seeing the change is the best. With that being said, we're going to do a quick recap. 2021 to 2022. We started on episode 70. We ended in 127, y'all. That's 57 episodes. There's 52 weeks in a year. That means we had weeks where we did more than one episode. So again, congratulations to both of you, to all of us. But thank you for all the listeners for listening, and Andrea for, again, think about all the work that goes into just executing 57 episodes, right? What's the difference in listens? We're going to close out about 35,000, 36,000 listens. We closed out 2022 with 25,000. So there's about 10,000 more views or in listens all in, which is awesome. How does it feel, y'all? 10,000 more. That's 1,000 more listens than last year. This year per month, about 800. How do you guys feel about that? Anything you guys want to share? Anything that you guys want to say about that?
I think it's awesome, man. I think it's, but again, going back to like, it's not about us mentality. It's just about you guys being so awesome at sharing the content or telling someone about the podcast and helping us grow transformation through your guys' own networks, right? Every time you guys like this show, share this show, it does wonders, not just for us, but for the person that might gain access, might tap. If you remember that, Angel, the tap, team access power.
I don't know what episode that was, but it was a good episode.
Yeah, tap into this network, right? So, no, I think it's really just shout out to the former listeners, the shares, and then, we gained 10,000 new listens from it. What about you, Andrea?
I think it's amazing. Like, we did a rebrand this year, and you always have that fear of how our audience is going to take it. And we have got so many really good feedbacks, and seeing the results at the end of the year is just like, it's amazing. It's our audience is amazing, or you two are amazing, like the team is amazing. So I'm just really grateful to be here in this team with you and with our audience.
It's for me, it's like 10,000 more is crazy. This just sounds. Listen, the hardworking guy, the hustler guy, the guy that has big expectations from his team and himself, is thinking 10,000 is not enough. So if those that are listening, share, like, comment. We need more. Not because of us, but because every time somebody else listens, so think about it. And I was just thinking about this right now. Every household has about 4 people. I heard this from Yagal, one of our guests that's been here twice. Every household on average has 4 people. If we could change one man or one woman or one teenager, right? We've talked to teenagers in this podcast, inside of that household. If their business grows, if their life changes, if their habits change, right? That's automatically 4 people that we create change in. So now let's imagine that these listens are people. Let's just grab the difference of 10,000. If it's 10,000 people and they each on average have a home of 4, that means that we could have easily impacted 40,000 people. Does that make sense? 10,000 homes. And so that's why we do it, right? Impact over income, substance over status, right? Vision over views. You can call it what you want, but we're really committed to the long term in this. And so I think that's very cool to sit back and, you're right, seeing the rebrand, seeing the changes we've made, right? And now we're here. And we're just getting started. To be honest, again, great job, but like now it's time to go to work, right? Now it's time to go to work. One of the things that like I was journaling about once, and I love to share this with everybody here, is every time you put yourself out there like we have, every time you create something like this, there's expectations that come from it, right? Now that we've hit 30,000, 35, what is it? 30, 35, 36,000 listens. Now people are going to expect that next year, it better be 70,000 listens. Does that make sense? And that's expectations from others. Now they're expecting better guests, more listens, better results. What am I expecting from myself? Ask yourselves, what do you expect from yourself? The same thing, better listens, to be a better interviewee and bring more value, to bring a better experience, right? And to be a top podcaster in this space, right? And then the third expectation is the expectation on why you started this, right? Like the mission behind this, the reason that God called you upon to do this. So I was talking to James, like a little triangle: the expectations of others, the expectations of yourself, and then the mission and the foundation that God set out to do. That's a lot of pressure, right? That keeps it all together. That's a lot of pressure if you think about it. But this is when people rise to it or they don't, right? So I'm super excited. Super excited. With that being said, there's also another expectation with us, and that's not just podcasts. It's what else? Where else do people expect something from us?
The event. I wasn't
the
sure
event,
if Andrea was going
baby.
to jump in. The event, the publication.
Nah, get in. She'll jump in when she's ready to jump in, right, Andrea?
However we engage with you, the audience. Yeah, that's for sure. She will. So it comes down to the event where we get hands-on access to you guys in the audience. Like that's where I know the expectations have been met, and they're also being raised.
Yeah. And I don't know if they're met, exceeded, right? Like, but we set our own expectations to a different level. So like first year was 55, or first year? Yeah. Second year was 100. And this third year, we're going all out. Like from the speakers to the activities, to the entertainment, to the food, the networking, the expertise, everything. We're coming in hot. Like I'm telling you right now, if I were you, I would get my ticket at that 40%. 40% right now, right? For early bird?
Yep, 40% off.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Good. And it's going to be only there for about, 30 days? All of January, basically. Then after that, early bird is gone. So make sure you guys get your early bird tickets, 300. We need to sell out. Trust me. I wish I could tell you the conversations we're having with what speakers, with what budgets, with what. You just got to go in there for the experience. It's going to be a hell of an experience. Hell of an experience. Is there anything in particular that you guys want to share about the event? Anything that you guys want to stake your flag on and say, this is what you can hold me to? Anything in particular?
I'll stake my flag on something easy.
Stake your flag. Steak sounds nice,
steak
though.
Does sound nice. You can hold me to. There's probably going to be steak at the event some way, somehow. I can guarantee you that. Let's start there. But really, I want you to hold us all to the same thing, and that's for us to continue to develop as hosts of this event, to be not the best version of ourselves, but of course but be the best version of this team and the people we bring in this room, to where it's next level, to where it's really a one-of-a-kind experience that you can't get anywhere else. That was definitely kind of our expectation going into last year, but then double that for 2024.
Triple.
So that triple, double, quadruple, but raise it regardless. And I just know that's the intention right now, and that's the intention that's going to be met.
All right, hang with me for the next minute and a half. We got a quick break here in the Profitable Cleaner because we're officially official. It's like I like to say it. Why? Because I get to take this break and introduce our sponsors. First sponsors is USource. So go to usource.com. That's USOURCE.com. This is a business management platform for facility services companies. No more chaos, unnecessary admin work, or just having to consolidate information. This is about you not being the source of information anymore and having a platform that can give you the accessibility, visibility, and control over your operation. So see more, do more, whether you're one employee or 3,000 employees, this is the platform for you. So check out our sponsor, usource.com. Our second sponsor, dayporter.com. They will help you with all your outbound, LinkedIn, email, call, and they're going to do it with a team from Latin America. So make sure that you reach out to them, dayporter.com. They can help you hire your next superstar and give you the strategies to go book the walkthroughs that you're looking for. The third one is going to be Melgar Consulting. That's alexmelgar.com. If you're hovering around the $5 million range and you're in the facility services industry, want to hit those 20, want to keep bumping your head and really want to scale, he is going to be able to consult and help you have the right foundation, the right structure, and the right strategies, and the right advisory and consulting to get you past those 5 to 20 million. So go to alexmelgard.com. And last but not least, our fourth sponsor, cleaningprofits.com. That is our annual event for facility services, CEO, executive teams, leadership teams. Bring them out. This is all about transformation. It's all about training. It's all about community. And it's held once a year, this year, September 12th to the 14th. So thank you once again to all of our sponsors. And let's continue on to the show. What about you, Andrea? So you're the one that planned it last year. What can people expect? What do you want to be held accountable to? By the way, I love this exercise because that's not a lot of people are down to speak about it. They're like, no. What if I don't meet it? Or what if you do? What if the only option is to meet it?
I will say that you will have like a mind-blowing experience. Like your mind is gonna, like, you're gonna trip in that event. Like I'm gonna tell you
Not
that.
with drugs, just so we're on the same page.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Because of
It
the
will be
knowledge.
mind-blowing.
Good. I like it. The theme is takeover. You can hold me accountable. I would love if anybody stops me during the event, at the end of the event, this would make my day. Like if you literally want to make my day and me be in your corner, this is what you need to do. No, just kidding. But if at the end of the event, I need people to come back to me and tell me pretty simple, a yes or no. Was this the best event you've been to this year? And probably for the remainder of the year. And probably for the last 3 years. Like if our event that we're putting together is not hands down the best transformational event that you're going to, whether it's in the industry or not, put us against people in the not the industry. I don't care. Then I didn't do my job. If this is not the best event, I did not do my job. That's all I'm going to say. That's the expectation that I'm holding myself accountable. That's the expectation that we're holding our team accountable to. Like we're going to do some big things. So be ready. The fact that it's industry specific, I think is like a cherry on the top, because then the people, your peers, get to network and talk about business with you. But I'm telling you, we're going to transform yourself, your household, a city, the industry. Like this is called a takeover, everybody. It's not called a statement. We've made a statement. It's not called the standard. We set the standard the first year. It's called the takeover. So get your tickets now. Trust me, get your tickets now. Okay, good. Any lessons in particular from podcast guests? Anything that you guys want to talk about, that you guys want to share from the people that were there? You don't have to tell a specific podcast episode, but is there anything that stuck with you?
I think there's one common theme for myself that has just became clear, and it's really became clear the last 2 years, but it's not a fluke like that it was relevant again, is there's one common denominator in all of these guests and all of these success stories and great companies, and it's really the importance of leadership. And that's such a broad topic, but there's so many narrow ways to develop yourself as a leader and to engage your team and build up leaders within your team. Like it's such an undeniable, like, interpersonal asset you can have. And if I look across the board at every great guest, at every great company, it's like they have intentionality on developing themselves and their team as leaders.
What about you, Andrea? Anything in particular that a lesson, maybe something you learned, maybe something that you reflected on from all the podcast episodes? Again, I'm sure there's a lot. Like if I asked any of the listeners, what did they learn from 57 episodes in 1 year? That's a lot.
I think one thing will be the faith that a lot of our guests have, and having God by their side, and how that helped to being really successful in the business, in their family, in their own lives. And also a lot of things that is a common denominator that I always hear in the podcast is and continual learning, to keep reading books, to keep hearing podcasts of self-development, keep going to events to improve yourself, to improve your business. That is a common denominator always, like keep learning.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say that this podcast has gotten me closer to God than anything else. Even interviewing people here has gotten me closer, because you're right. A lot of people do believe. It's interesting that not a lot of them speak about it, but then when you give them the opportunity to speak about it in the platform, they're down. It's funny, like me and James have been like, yeah, let's pray in the podcast. And they're like, whoa, what? Like, why would you guys do that? Why did you guys open up that platform like that? And I'm like, even at our event, right? Some people are like, hey, what do you do with the ones that don't believe? I'm like, you don't got to believe. You do what you got to do, man. I just know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God, right? So I think that's that's something great that you noticed, Andrea. I think for me, outside of the faith one, would be just uh, life. Life hits everybody, and no one said it was going to be easy. And you can tell by these podcast stories, it's not easy. It's not easy. So whoever told you it was going to be easy, it wasn't going to be challenging, like if you still have that in your mind, just get rid of it. It's simple.
Yes.
Not difficult. Like, it's not rocket science, but life hits you left and right. And so when you're able to tap into a community, a podcast, an event like the Prophets, right, that you get to like really dive in, that's what I've noticed. But I've noticed people gravitate themselves towards people that are certain in moments of uncertainty. And so one of the other goals that I have going into 2024 is to be that certainty flag. That's why that's why I was talking about like staking our flag, because if we could be at least your rock when you're losing your shit, if we can get you closer to God and be the rock that can just keep you sane while you're going through it, that's what we're here for. And maybe we can't be there on a call or a text every time something's going on, but I would love that every time you listen to one of our podcasts, there's a little bit of hope, a little bit of light, a little bit of drive, a little bit of motivation, a little bit of realism, a little bit of everything, right? To be there for you. So I think that was very cool. Well, listen, y'all, this has been super fun. I don't want to keep here talking for like an hour on this, right? What is going on though? What's coming in 2024? Andrea, why don't you give people the news? What news?
Okay.
What's changed? Well, yeah, you. By the way, if you're listening to this and you think Andrea should be in more podcasts more often, go ahead and send us a message. I think she should. We should do like a Spanish version, and she should just interview like entrepreneurs in Spanish, but just here, right? Right. Andrea, what's coming in 2024?
Just for you to know, the audience and people listening here, they let me know that I will be in the podcast like 5 minutes before the podcast. So
Good.
it's
If
fair
anybody
to
that
me
knows
to
us,
be like that.
anybody knows us, is you always gotta be ready.
Yeah.
Always gotta be ready. If God
So
were to
what is
tell us when the timing is gonna happen, we would only prepare a week before or 5 minutes before, instead of always being ready. Hey,
I'm
that's a
ready.
good core value. Always be ready. Okay,
What is
Andrea,
coming to 2024?
what's the big change? There's one big announcement. Give us the big
I know.
announcement.
We're going live, guys. We
What
are
do you mean
going
by
to record
live?
in person. So,
Come
and that
on,
is
sell it more.
amazing.
No, sell it
So
more. Where, what, why? Let's get it.
we're having our own, how do you say like this?
Studio.
A recording studio in Arizona.
There we go.
So we're really excited
Woo!
about
Shout
that.
out to Edward.
Shout out to Edward, that he is going to be in charge now of all the production, in-person production, and that's amazing because he do an amazing job. And yeah, we are having all of our guests will have to come to Arizona, so that's something really cool. They will have to spend 1 hour or more with you talking in person,
Definitely
and
more.
that's going to be amazing.
So we're looking at, yeah, there you go. Great announcement. So we're going to switch it up a little bit, y'all. We noticed that with our virtuals, great. Don't get me wrong. We loved it. And I mean, we've been growing. So obviously you've loved it. But there's certain conversations that need to be longer than 30, 45 minutes. I got to go deeper, right? Especially as we get more guests. So we're planning on, and correct me if I'm wrong, James, but I think we're going to start at 2 hours, right? We're gonna do our best to do 2-hour podcasts, split them up. We'll figure out the distribution, but 2-hour podcast,
there's
right?
Gonna be depth, right? That's
100%.
That's the bottom line. You can only get so deep virtually.
100%. And so imagine, you guys know us at our events. Imagine if we're sitting across each other and you say something and we catch something, or I say something and they catch something. Like, we can now go into body language matters. Like, we'll start going into all these things and we're going to dive deeper. We're going to get to hang out. We're going to get to go to dinner. We're going to get to like put together all the guests and go to dinner. It's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be different. Yes, we're flying to Arizona. If you're in Arizona, want to be a guest, or if you want to fly down there, let us know. Let us know. It's changing up. I'm changing it up. So just be ready. Second thing that's coming. Bum, bum. For the first time ever, I guess last year this year we kind of did it, but now we're actually going to be looking for strategic partnerships when it comes down to sponsors. We used to never ask sponsorships. We're not doing. There's a few companies, after going to ISSA, James, I think we both noticed, there's a lot of companies that want to do good in the industry. A lot of companies that want to impact. And also after our event, like financial advisors, tax strategists, acquisition, equipment, software. So we're actually going to be taking, and then we had our publication, we had a lot of people promote it and a lot of people sponsor it. So now we're going to be looking for a handful of sponsors that can come with us for the year. So imagine now talking with us in person, live, and you can bring your stuff, right? Like, it'll be a good time. It'll be a great time. So make sure that if you're interested, email Andrea at profitablecleaner.com. Andrea at profitablecleaner.com. We're looking for a handful. We're not just going to take whoever throws money. Yeah. We want to make sure that what you're bringing to the industry makes sense, that the process makes sense. Last thing we want to do is send somebody in there and they have a terrible experience. If we're going to associate our name with someone, it's because we see eye to eye. And so, anything you want to add to that?
I just want to add to it. Like, when you hear the word sponsors and you think, okay, they'll take anyone and everyone. Really, to us, it comes back to our core value of like impact over income, right? Like, these people that we bring into our circle that we want to bring to you guys goes back to building our network to bring to you. They have to be impactful. They have to be valuable. And it's got to be a dynamic relationship and view or listen for you guys. It's not just, oh, hey, here's a brand because they need exposure. It's because they're actually impactful for you.
100%. 100%. So make sure you reach out to Andrea. That's what we're bringing up. We already have our initial guest going for Arizona. We're super excited to record it. What does that mean for you that's listening, though? What that means is that this will be the last time you listen to us virtually. Well, you'll listen to us virtually all the time, but when's our first episode airing? Because now we got to go in person. Now we're doing the full-blown thing. It's gonna be beautiful. I can't wait. Like, for those that have seen Hot Seats and Profits, have seen like questions and strategic conversations, like, now to do them in person for 2 hours. Oh, baby. Can't fucking wait. Andrea, when's our first episode launching? In 2024, around there?
February the 7th.
First week of February 7th? Yeah. Perfect. Yes. So, y'all, once again, I just want to thank y'all. James, Andrea, I'll let y'all do final comments. I'm going to do something here at the end. But yeah, we'll see you until February 7th. But before you let go of this episode or stop listening, James, Andrea, what message y'all want to give to them?
I'll just give a message.
As your last goodbye.
I'll just give a message of gratitude and excitement. Obviously, thank you guys for rolling with us these past few years, this past year, this past month, whenever you found us. But couldn't be more excited to continue to walk down this road with you guys, because I believe one thing that's came real in my personal life, which I'm going to end here with this message, is like, destinations are rarely as great as the journey. And this has been a journey for us, and you guys have been part of that journey. So hopefully we've been part of your journey. And I think there's no destination here. It's really just about the journey. So I want to just thank you guys for that. And super excited for the journey of 2024.
Andrea?
I will say that to move in purpose and with hope, because 2024 will come with a lot of learnings, a lot of things for you. So move with purpose and hope.
Damn, see, we gotta have her on the podcast more often. I'm telling you, with purpose and hope. It's not the destination, it's the process. You're right, there's no destination. Hopefully, we're talking about this episode 500. Cool. Well, listen, I know we have about 1 minute here, so stick with us. You know what I'm about to do. I think James can tell what I'm about to do at least. I know Andrea's new to seeing my eyes and going, oh, I think I know what he's gonna do. So listen, my message is going to be a little bit different. Why don't we just close it out in prayer? If we're going to close out this year, this is going to be our last episode until February 7th. Then let's go ahead and close this out the way we started it, baby, with a mission from God. And now we're going to close it out in prayer. So I'll just kick this off. So Heavenly Father, I just thank you. First of all, I just thank you for James, for Andrea, for taking on this mission, this vision that you have given us with this podcast. The amount of work, the amount of sacrifice, the amount of planning and execution that it takes to put this together for 57 episodes for a year. I just thank you for that. All without complaining. All with seeing the end in mind. And I just want to thank you for every single listener right now. That you bless their life, that you put your hand on them, that you give them their favor, God, because they've been faithful not just to you, but to at least listening to this podcast. And anybody that listens to this podcast is trying to improve their lives, is trying to improve their heart, their minds, change their home, and be a true example to their family, their surroundings, and their company. So I ask that you bless their company, that you bring them more revenue, that you bring them more employees, that you allow them to be able to leave a legacy worth doing. So God, I just come and I thank you. I thank you for 2023. And I ask you that you bless every person listening to this, that even though they don't know what the end goal is, even though we don't know what the end goal is, that you allow us to enjoy every moment and to realize that daily, that day is a gift given by you, a miracle to take, to appreciate, to love, and to do something big with. So I ask you that anybody that's listening to this, that you give them the strength, the power, and the vision to realize that they're your son and daughter in Christ. They're part of the kingdom. And so I ask you that you give them the dreams and the vision to dream even bigger going into 2024, and that you make us a vessel in their growth, and that this podcast becomes part of a stepping stone for them to go into something bigger. So we ask for that. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening to the Profitable Cleaner 2023. We'll see you February 7th, 2024.